Hello.
1, 2, 3. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Good? Let's get a big hand for Sue. She's doing a great job, right? Let's give her a big hand. Congratulations. This has been awesome.
It's fun. This is fun.
And I got a free cup, too. This is awesome. That is great.
I once told my ex-husband that I wanted to get paid to talk. So if I make more shows like this,
Never know.
you never
Sky's the
know.
limit.
You never know.
Sky's
And he
the
was
limit.
surprised. He's like, dude. So this is the proof that life is unlimited and you can make it whatever you want it to be. Create the shift in yourself. So thanks for being here.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right. So Joel is currently the principal at St. Anne in Mattawa. And you've been a principal and a teacher and educator for a long, long time. And I love what you're talking about today, I have to say. And I said "and" a lot of times.
That's okay.
It made me
It's
nervous.
better than but.
True. However, see what I did there?
I saw
All
that.
right. So when you came to me, when I came to you, we decided together that we were going to do this. You had a really great point form of a process. And the reason I asked Joel to sit at this portion of the show is because not only do you have to hear the wonderful things of how other people cope, but sometimes having a process will help you if you don't know how to move forward yourself. And so I'm a huge fan. And for those of us who have had a mental health journey, I feel like you'll be able to resonate with at some point of Joel's plan. And so how about you take it away?
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me. This is great. And mental health is something that's important to talk about. And I've got the best job in the world. I work with kids. So it's fantastic. I've been doing it for over 20 years. And now I'm speaking, started this journey in speaking, and it's just a pleasure being here. So, and I want to talk about intentionality, right? So when we talk about mental health, when we talk about depression, when we talk about when we feel down, well, it's important to have strategies and ways to get out of that, right? And I think that's why we're here. We want to hear what are those strategies, what are those tricks that we can have in our pocket to help us get out of those spots whenever we're feeling down. Yep. And one of those things is to be intentional, you know? And I'll ask you a question. How many people here actually check their internal voice? Anybody do that? Do you check that?
Yeah, but
Because,
only lately.
you know, we speak to ourselves all the time. And I came to realize that I read a book, I think it was from John Maxwell. And he's a great guy to read if you want to go get his books and be inspired. John Maxwell is a great guy, and he's written tons of books. But I think he's the one that talked about that. And be mindful of your internal talk, because often we are our own worst enemies. And I tell that to the kids, right? Whenever their self-esteem is down, whenever they think they can't do something, that self-talk will start, right? And then if we don't keep it in check, it could run away quite quickly. And that's when we start creating stories in our minds and we start imagining things. But once you're intentional and you actually think about, well, what is it that I'm saying, that I'm telling myself, it'll be a lot easier for you to stop yourself and snap out of it and change that mindset, right? So, you know, I challenge you guys today to start doing that, to start trying to be intentional on how am I talking to myself in different situations? When I'm feeling nervous, when I'm feeling down, when I'm feeling happy.
Or when you're prepping for an exam, I'm stupid. Or when you're studying, or when you're late.
Yeah.
Anything where you put yourself down. My kids, you got to see them today. Anytime
was
my
great,
son,
actually.
he
That
was
was
great.
pretty
Listen,
impressive.
that's been work. And I'll share during prize time, but he threw me off my game. Oh yeah, every time he's rude to himself,
Yeah.
I make him say 3 nice things. And when he was studying for exams, because this is his first year of high school, and he was like, I can't do this, and I'm super frustrated, and we had him stand up and look in the mirror and just say, I can do this, we'll find a way, and do that, because I've only started doing that for myself in the last year, but what an impactful situation. It really works.
Absolutely. So check your self-talk. I challenge all of you guys to start doing that. And for me, anyways, in my own personal experience, it's made a big difference. I think probably the biggest thing that I struggled with in the line of work that I do was the self-doubt, because I'm in a job where it's although I'm surrounded by kids and I'm surrounded by staff, there's usually about one principal in the building, right? And so you're a little bit isolated. And I always had this thought in the back of my head, well, am I doing a good job? Am I doing good And when you don't get any feedback, it's hard, to keep yourself motivated to think that you are doing a good job. And I had to coach myself, and I had to check my, internal talking, my self-talk, because I would actually talk myself down. And then I said, I got to stop doing that, and I have to replace what I'm telling myself with something else. So, I replaced the self-doubt with, well, no news is good news, because often we don't have any news. And I kind of figured if I really do mess up bad, somebody is going to call me. So until that happens,
that is how it happens.
You know what? No news is good news, so they must think I'm doing a good job. So check the self-talk. Yeah. Another important thing, and a lot of the guests touched on it, is your tribe. This whole idea about being surrounded, right?
Yep.
Did you know that studies show that you're about the average of about 4 to 5 people that you surround yourself most of the time with? You're about the average of those people. You got to also check who you surround yourself with. Because let me tell you something, when we're alone, we can go faster. And I told you this quote before, when you go alone, at it alone, you can go faster, but when you do it together, you can go a lot further. So you got to find connections, and you got to be intentional on working on those connections. Anybody here actually intentional at developing your relationships? Do you actually think about that? Do you think about going out and saying, okay, I'm going to go talk to this person, and I'm going to see how they're doing? That is so important, because you got to build that network. We can't do it alone, and we need other people. That's what human beings are. We're living beings that live together, that grow together.
And it's work.
Well, we need other
every
people.
day, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
To work with an intention.
Absolutely.
But if we want love, we have to give love.
Well, yeah, you talked about, if you the glass half full, or was it Celine? I think it was you that said it, right? So in order to be able to give to others, you got to make sure that your glass. So there's the whole idea of taking care of yourself. But you need to find people that surround you, that push you. If those people that you hang out with most of the time, if those people are not pushing you to be better, if they're not encouraging you, if they're not supporting you, if they're not being real with you, then you need to change your crew. And you need to find other people to be in that crew. Okay? You got to do that.
Because as much work as that is to have a relationship with intent, when you have the wrong people in your tribe who are not fulfilling you, it's that much more work to unconvince yourself and to work at that thing that you're trying to do to make yourself better when you get additional barriers.
Exactly. And, why not have other people to help us, to push us, and to kick us in the butt whenever we need it? Thank God I've got my staff, because I don't have all the answers.
Are any of them here?
And I don't think so. But they know I'm here, because I told them I was coming tonight. So, but thank God for their support, and thank God for their candor, and thank God that they're there to tell me whenever I do need to get checked, or whenever I need to get encouraged, or whenever I need to be told, you know what, you're doing a really good job, and the kids love you, and things are going great. But we're intentional when we do that. So we think of doing it, and if it takes for you guys to take out your phones and telling Siri to remind you to do that, then do that. If you have to put it in your calendar, then do it. But you got to be intentional, because if you're not intentional, I found anyways, if I don't adopt those strategies to think about it or help myself think about it, I ain't going to do it.
That's right.
So you have to do it, because good mental health, like success, is not a destination thing, right? It's a day-to-day thing.
That sounds like something Arthur said earlier.
Well, probably similar.
What?
I think I see Arthur. Hey, Arthur.
Hey.
It's a day-to-day thing, right, Arthur? So you got to build it all the time, all the time. It's like when people talk about balance. You never achieve balance. Nobody achieves perfect balance. You're always working towards it, right? But it's a day-to-day thing. So, but you have to be intentional. You got to think about it. Check your voice. I challenge you to do that. Surround yourself with the right people. Look around you. Are they encouraging you? Are they pushing you to be better? You have to strive to be better. And we talked about, are we good with time?
We're good.
All right.
That's the 5 from
This is
Arthur.
awesome. This is awesome, yeah.
You don't see what's happening back there, but we got system.
Yeah. So striving to get better is really important also. We talked about keeping your glass full, and you have to be intentional about that also. So what are you doing? And I'll ask you guys the question, what are you doing today, tomorrow, after tomorrow? What is it that you do to make yourself better? Are you taking, what's that? Come in here.
Oh,
Some people are
you
taking
just melted my heart.
So that's a really important question to ask yourself, because in my experience over 20 years in education, whenever I came upon somebody that was having a hard time and that was in that low, what I noticed most of the time, the common thread between those people is that they had stopped learning. They had stopped growing, honestly. And I had thought about this for a while. I'm like, man, why are they so miserable? And how can you be miserable when you got little 4-year-olds that love you unconditionally, and even, you know, the bigger kids? And that was the common thread that I noticed, is that they had stopped growing. And you need to keep growing, even if it doesn't feel comfortable. Comfort zone, get out of that comfort zone. John Maxwell talks about the law of the elastic band, the rubber band. So the law of the rubber band says that for you to grow, if this end is where you are, your comfort zone, and that end is where you want to be, that band always has to have tension for you to grow. If that band gets loose, then you're not growing. So maybe you can think about that. I don't know if some people would like to actually have a rubber band around their wrist to remind yourself. You can do that.
Actually,
You know?
I'm going to share, because the whole rubber band thing.
A rubber band.
Yeah, I want to talk about something that's just outside the door, because
Go
we're
ahead,
going to
yeah.
then go to prize. And thank you for everything that you shared tonight. It's really special.
I got
there
more
s-
if you want more. Though.
I know. So you can find all of our information on our Shifted NB Facebook page and get connected with us as well. So if you want to talk more with each of us individually,